Hello everyone. In the news, hydroxychloroquine and remdesivir seem like the only drugs for COVID, which is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. But the US database clinicaltrials.gov gives a different picture. Worldwide, there are more than 200 drugs in more than 1,000 clinical trials on COVID, mostly in North America, the European Union, and China. The 200-plus drugs consist of many existing drugs and some novel candidates. The reason for testing existing drugs is that if some drugs are effective against other microbes, such as other viruses, parasites, bacteria, and fungus, they may be repurposed for COVID and should be tested. Using antimicrobe drugs for COVID can be a general targeting strategy. Hydroxychloroquine, which is an anti-malarial drug, has more than 200 trials. But the recent unfavorable data has led to the US FDA to revoke the emergency use of hydroxychloroquine for COVID, and the World Health Organization discontinued the trials that it was sponsoring. Another general targeting strategy is convalescent plasma, which works by taking the blood from recovered and virus-free COVID patients and separating the antibodies from the cells. Then the antibodies are given to current COVID patients. Convalescent plasma has more than 100 ongoing trials. Antimicrobe drugs can also be used to specifically target the different stages of COVID's life cycle, such as its entry into the cell, its replication and assembly in the cell, and its exit from the cell. On the step of COVID assembly, remdesivir is tested because it worked against the Ebola, MERS, and SARS virus. The data was favorable so that in May 2020, the FDA approved it for emergency use. While remdesivir helps patients with milder symptoms to recover more quickly, it is less effective with patients who need oxygen or are already on the ventilator. It is not enough to address the infection because COVID causes many serious symptoms in patients, such as inflammation, blood clotting, and lung damage. Since other diseases have the same symptoms, it is worthwhile to test the drugs that treat these diseases to see if the drugs also work against the COVID symptoms. For example, the drugs that are used to treat inflammation and organ rejection in organ transplantation are tested. Motrin, which can reduce blood clotting, is also tested. In addition, drugs that help improve blood flow and oxygen supply, such as Viagra, is being tested to see if they can keep the lungs healthy in COVID patients. In conclusion, there are many drugs in clinical trial being tested for COVID. The highest profile drugs, hydroxychloroquine, was found to be ineffective. Remdesivir was found to be more effective with patients with milder symptoms. Therefore, it makes sense to continue to test other drugs. We are going to need the repurposed and novel drugs as well as vaccines to fight COVID. Check out my longer video on COVID. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.